Next on Worcester News Tonight, protecting the victim, why a New Hampshire court could deliver a landmark ruling in the Lizzie Marriott case. Plus, the state honors police officers killed in the line of duty. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Madison. We begin tonight on the campaign trail. The November 8th election is a little more than 6 weeks away, and much of the focus is on the presidential race. Here in central Massachusetts, the local candidates are out in the communities meeting potential voters. Tonight, incumbent Representative Dan Donahue and challenger John Frizzolo, candidates for the 16th district seat, attended the Grafton Hill Neighborhood Association meeting. The meeting was a chance for the two to reintroduce themselves to community members and hear their concerns about city issues. The meeting also included talk about question 4, the issue of legalizing recreational marijuana, which is on the November ballot.
It's always a great opportunity to hear what some of the concerns are. People will bring their concerns, whether it's streetlights being out on their street, whether they're seeing maybe some activity that they like to see addressed, or whatever the issue is. So it's always a great opportunity to listen and also to talk about any issues that we might have up at the state are important.
Donahue's opponent, John Frizzolo, is the former state representative in the district. He declined our request for an interview before the meeting started. New Hampshire's Supreme Court now deliberating a case which could bring the first of its kind ruling in the Lizzie Marriott case. The justices are considering whether to make public key aspects of the murder victim's private life. The Westboro native was murdered in 2012. Catherine Underwood has the details.
This is going to be the first time we're asked to do this.
In an effort to protect a rape victim's privacy, the New Hampshire Attorney General's office wants records sealed and the Supreme Court to close its doors to the public.
If a victim's reputation is not protected in the trial court, fewer victims will come forward.
UNH student Lizzie Marriott was raped and killed by Seth Mazzaglia in 2012. Under the Rape Shield law, records detailing Marriott's sexual past were sealed during trial. But under a state Supreme Court rule, those same documents will be made public during Mazzaglia's appeal, uncovering allegations that Marriott's parents are afraid could damage her reputation.
They're traumatized. Okay, this process has really traumatized them again. It's reopened a lot of wounds for them.
Mazzaglia's attorney argues that without transparency, there's no accountability.
In a closed courtroom, I can make the full argument I want to make, but you're not there. And if they disagree with me but should have agreed, nobody will ever know, and that's what I'm concerned about.
Victim advocates call it a groundbreaking issue.
No other state in the country takes away these protections on appeal,
saying that if the court unseals these records, it would also undo 40 years worth of fighting for victims' rights.
We cannot have a system that forces victims to sacrifice everything just to seek justice.
We're told the court's decision in this unprecedented case could take several months. In Concord, New Hampshire, for Worcester News Tonight, I'm Catherine Underwood.
Today, 4 names were added to the memorial office here in Massachusetts. Across the state, 4 officers that were killed in the line of duty in the last year. In a ceremony at the State House today, the families of officers George Crowell, Edward Johansson, Jose Macera, and Philip Pitts were honored. To date, more than 360 officers have lost their lives serving in the state.
Particularly for those who are on the front lines every day.
Far too many of our fellow officers have made that ultimate sacrifice. And I want them to know, and I want everyone here to know, that our thoughts and our prayers are with all of them and all their families, and our strength is in their memory.
Next year, the foundation will add the names of Auburn police officers Ronald Tarantino Jr. and State Trooper Thomas Clardy, both killed in the line of duty earlier this year. Protests continue in North Carolina tonight over the shooting death of a man by police. Officers were serving a warrant for another person and say this man had a gun. The victim's family says he wasn't armed. The violent protests in North Carolina are causing concern among law enforcement and members of the black community. Our Brittany Schaefer reports.
I can understand that reaction. I don't support that reaction, but I can certainly understand that reaction.
A violent protest in Charlotte, North Carolina Tuesday night follows the police shooting death of Keith Lamont Scott. The incidents have both law enforcement and black community activists in the area concerned.
I know that the numbers of police killings are definitely on the rise.
Do I think it could happen here? I do. I mean, I think it could happen anywhere.
In my opinion, a never-ending battle if we continue down this path where people are getting hurt on both sides. Families are being affected negatively on both sides.
Both police and black leaders in Worcester County find faults within their respective communities and say what is happening in Charlotte and other parts of the nation is tragic.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that all officers act right all the time.
The response from the community is often very, very violent. They're attacking police, they're damaging property.
Webster Police Lieutenant Michael Shaw says during training he was taught to only shoot when there is a threat, but not always to kill the suspect.
People think we shoot to kill. We don't shoot to kill, we shoot to stop.
In the death of Scott, information about the case is still being released Wednesday. Those we spoke to say people should wait for the facts to come out before protesting out of anger.
You have to wait sometimes a little while till you get all of the information.
People aren't even waiting for the facts to come out and for investigators to complete their investigation. They're just reacting.
We need to stop jumping too quickly to conclusions the minute something happened and wait for proper investigation to move forward.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
Prosecutors in the embezzlement trial of Dan Doyle say he ran an international sports institute as a personal piggy bank during opening statements today. Doyle is a Worcester native. He founded the International Sports Institute. Today, a prosecutor in Rhode Island says he took more than $1 million from the institute to pay for things like school tuition and plastic surgery. Doyle's lawyers say his client is not an embezzler. Doyle is also the founder of the New England Basketball Hall of Fame. It has held induction ceremonies in Worcester in recent years. Doyle's trial is expected to last a couple months. 2 people are recovering tonight after a car and a truck crashed on Route 2 in Harvard. The car was totaled in the accident. Traffic was delayed in the area while crews cleaned up debris. It appeared neither person was seriously hurt. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Rectrix Aviation announces the Worcester Regional Airport will be its new maintenance base of operations. Rectrix is the largest Massachusetts-based private jet operator. The company officially opened its facility at the airport last year. Rectrix is ground handler for JetBlue at the airport. They provide fueling, de-icing, and maintenance. Airport Director Andy Davis says having Rectrix in Worcester will be good for the local economy.
Right now, Worcester Regional Airport generates about $46 million a year in economic impact just by having these additional jobs with maintenance crews and whatnot, high-tech personnel, respectively paid. That just brings more money into this area that just won't benefit the airport, but the surrounding communities and the businesses right around the airport and the region for that matter.
Rectrix's maintenance base of operations was at Hanscom Airport in Bedford, Massachusetts. An iconic Worcester business will soon be making even more of their tasty product here in the city. Last night, City Council approved. Our Rosalind Flaherty visited with the bakers at Table Talks Pie today and has a look at their future plans.
Table Talk Pies is looking to expand their operations in the city. And the iconic Worcester business is a step closer after getting support from a City Council subcommittee Tuesday.
Our customers want more pies.
The Economic Development Committee approved a tax break for Table Talk's new bakery in the South Worcester Industrial Park. Over a 20-year period, the developer will get an average tax exemption of 80%.
Right now, there were city-owned parcels that weren't generating any income at all, no tax base. So now we have increased our tax base.
City Councilor Sarai Rivera says the development creates jobs.
In the long run, it helps us all as a city as a whole because it's an economic boost.
Table Talk Pies Vice President Harry Kokinis says right now they are producing around 3 million of their famous 4-inch pies per week. The business employs 300 people, and the new bakery will add more than 50 people to their workforce.
Allow us to make more pies. Maybe we can make over 3 million, get close to 4 million.
Kokinis says the tax relief made the decision of where to expand easier.
To be able to stay in Worcester, it's something we've always wanted to do and something my family has felt strongly about because Worcester has meant so much to the success of this company.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News.